Hello and welcome to another Daily Digest video. I am Merriam, and today I have a deck that is going to look very familiar to a lot of you. It was one of the dominant decks last fall in White Blue Flash, but this version of the deck is a lot less flashy. It doesn't have Rattle Chains, Selfless Spirit, the 2-drops you've come to expect. Instead, it has just this barest hint of an artifact theme with Walking Ballista, Aethersphere Harvester, and of course the clues from Thraben Inspector. And they support Metallic Rebuke, which I think is an important addition and the reason why I am trying this deck out today, and hopefully it goes well. This hand is pretty good. We have a good mix of lands and spells, a good early curve. Going to need to find some untapped lands. Just one basic will be great. So we can curve farmland into Ballista 2, into Harvester, into Gideon. That sounds like a great curve. Our opponent's kept 7. I will keep as well. And we are off. What do you got? Aether Hub, oh no. Aether Hub is usually accompanied by a tune on turn 1. Yup. How surprising. You wouldn't think Lay of the Land would be so good, and yet we have 2 of them that are great. What has happened? Okay, well there's our Metallic Rebuke. That'll give us something to do on turn 3 if we don't hit another land. So not the worst draw. Our opponent found an island, by the way, if you missed that, right here. I imagine that will come down this turn. Nope. Of course I'm wrong. A little Spiral off Canal action. Walking Ballista. I have to imagine they just drew the canal, because otherwise they would probably get a forest. So I think that canal was their draw step. That might mean that they're land light, but then they were really... Maybe this is a Temur Dynamo deck if they found Basic Island. Man, I'm so smart. Too bad I'm still dead. Okay, our opponent is a Temur Dynamo deck. They still have the island in their hand. And we have not drawn another land. So I can play a Ballista for 1 and attack, or I can pass. Thing is, my opponent is going to be a control deck heavy with instants, so passing doesn't seem good. So I'll just play my thing. X is 1, yes. Now I have 2 1/1 Walking Ballistas. And not feeling great here. The turn they tap out for tower is an important turn to land in a good threat, and we were unable to do that. So we're pretty far behind. That's the island we saw earlier. Glimmer puts them up to Dynavolt range, but I'm pretty happy seeing that because now I can freely resolve Gideon with a land. If we draw a land here, I feel okay. Let's see what they did on those scries. And bottom with the second one, and so top bottom, they split them. That's fine. And come on, land. Land. No, not a land. Ugh. The old keep a 3-lander, miss your 4th land drop. It's a tough life I live. Tough life. And I can play Initiate here, but ugh. Just going to die to tower. I think Harvester is actually better at applying pressure here. Sort of turns our 1-toughness creatures into better threats. Still probably going to eat it to a Harness Lightning, but what are you going to do? Killing a Ballista here with the tower is really aggressive. Makes me think they have a lot of removal in their hand, and they're going to try to strand this Harvester in play. They can go land, Harness Lighting, Ballista, counterspell from an X creature. They don't have that. Well, okay. Just going to Glimmer and then kill my other Ballista. But again, they've tapped out, and if I just draw another land, an untapped land, Magic Gods, make sure. I'm going to be very specific. We need an untapped land. Untapped to cast our Gideon. So that's a bottom. Another good sign. There, are they going? You can't let us untap here. And we're okay. Oh my! Wow! My stars! We drew an untapped land. Gideon. Perhaps you've heard of me. I could make an emblem here with another Gideon, but there's no guarantee that those resolve. So I just want to get value here, make my 2/2, crew with that 2/2, get an extra attacker. It's going to take 2 tower activations to kill that Gideon. And the wherewithal to find the energy to pay for those activations. So get in 4 here, and now we're not in bad shape, especially with the Rebuke behind. If our opponent is going to try to Gear Hulk here, for instance. Yeah. Oh, I didn't. I assume this was going to my face. I should have checked it in case it's going to Ballista. Yeah, it was going to the face. And redirected to Gideon. But now they're on no energy. We have a counter spell for Gear Hulk. And Gear Hulk doesn't, even if it resolves, like they cast it main phase, for instance, Flashing Back Glimmer only gets them to 4 energy, so they wouldn't even be able to use Tower. I imagine they are going to be able to tower down our Gideon here, but if they, again, tap out to do so, I have more threats behind. I have second Gideon, I have Rebuke plus Initiate. I have things to do. So that, okay, another tower is fine. They don't have a ton of energy. Sure, they get extra energy now with this attune, but they can still only activate 1 tower, and again, they're tapped out. So I imagine our Gideon is about to die here, and then I'll just untap, play another Gideon, this time attack for 6, and then have them pretty well dead. They find an island to play it? Yeah. Okay. I guess them having another untapped land here does complicate things. That they can have a negate or censor. So, that's an interesting draw. It lets me resolve Gideon through censor, but negate would be a disaster because that would both counter my Gideon and give them 5 energy to activate the second tower here. I think what I want to do is just play land, crew Harvester with Ballista and attack for 5, and leave up Avacyn. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Harness Lightning here. And Avacyn is very good against Harness Lightning. And still good against Negate, because it doesn't give them a target for it. So I think holding up the Avacyn is our best line. Mushu. Nothing else to use this energy on. Take 5. Interesting that they took it. I don't really want Avacyn on end step. So I think now that they haven't cast a removal spell, I just want to play Initiate and hold up Rebuke. This applies pressure while letting me guarantee use some of my mana and keeping Avacyn for my next attack. My opponent wants to... Well, I guess they read me for Avacyn, and that's why they didn't anticipate. Still feels like they should have baited it, right? Like they're going to cast Anticipate anyway. Well, yeah, tower down my thing. Maybe that was bad. It's bad against exactly Anticipate. Or at the very least, awkward against exactly Anticipate. That's not a high... It doesn't... In Teamer Dynavolt Tower decks do play Anticipate, but not in very high numbers, as far as I am aware. Yeah, I'm expecting to pass here. This is probably the Gear Hulk turn. I'm gonna... Ooh. If this is the Gear Hulk turn, they're gonna generate enough mana to activate 1 tower. if the Gearhulk resolves. So I'm going to want to rebuke it. Inspector lets me Crew Harvester and essentially threaten lethal with a 6-point attack plus a 1-point ballista. And and it lets me do it with Rebuke up. So let's play the Inspector. There's a complicating factor here with Lumbering Falls. If I Crew Harvester and attack with everything, my opponent can just activate Falls and block. Which is very awkward. It's so awkward that... is it that awkward? They block Ballista and don't have anything, they're dead. So likely to block Night Ally. And just take 4, and then they're dead to Harvester the next turn. And they can't really do anything else with their mana. Unless they have Harness Light. Which I would have expected in place of that Anticipate. I think I need to be aggressive here against the towers. I'm expecting something bigger than activating Falls. I'm going to attack with everything. Not entirely sure if this is right. Yeah, there goes activating. I guess they're dead regardless of which one they block here, if they don't have anything. I do think... there's no way they have nothing here with a 6-card hand. I'm just going to ping them and bring them to 1. This Magma Spray is going towards the Knight. Can I... oh, what? It's going towards Aethersphere Harvester. They're only getting 4 energy. Oh, yes, Falls untapped. Okay. So you have 2 more mana. They have an Anticipate here? Is that what's going on? Well, in that case... in that case, I'm disappointed here. Actually, maybe I just let this happen. If they tap out, I get to resolve Gideon. With them at 5. Yeah, I'm actually just going to let this happen. They have to cast another spell here. Yeah, Anticipate, not surprised. Okay. They're going to go to 4, actually, because the Ballista trigger, activation is yet to resolve. And I have to imagine they've had counter spells this entire time, but maybe I've been ahead enough that I should have left up Avacyn on these couple of attacks. I've gone a little bit too aggressive. That's definitely possible. These turns have been tricky to navigate, but still in good shape. And make a Knight. And they're on 3 energy. We have a bunch of sizable attackers. They do have a lot of cards in hand. And 2 towers. So let's see what goes down here. Interestingly, they don't have a lot of red mana. Just the Canal and the Hub right now. So casting a lot of red cards is tough. And they're in a spot where their red cards are what they need. I've navigated to the point where they're likely holding some counter spells that if we win this game, they're never going to get a chance to cast, which is one of the things you need to do against control decks. So while I have played this game fairly aggressively and let their removal spells be live, I have purposely done so to make their counter spells bad. Glimmer is an interesting play from our opponent. I'm normally pretty happy to see them use 4 mana on a card that doesn't affect the battlefield. But it does get them a lot of energy to help with towers. And, oh man, they scry top. That is a bad sign. It's a pretty narrow range of cards that they want here. And it looks like they found them. This Harness Lightning is going to kill a knight, and then I assume the towers will take down Gideon. And that will leave me 1 point short. It's tough. Yeah. I feel bad having this Rebuke in my hand, too. I don't know if I was supposed to be doing something with it. Because it looks pretty poor now against an opponent with 8 lands, about to make their 9th land drop. Maybe I should have rebuked at some point. There's no real point in playing Avacyn right now, but... Hub could end up being important if it just squeaks them to enough energy to play tower. Or to use tower, I mean. And... Do I play Avacyn? I don't think I do. I think it's just going to get countered. I'm just going to crack this clue. Maybe cracking the clue is bad, because now I'm taking off of Avacyn mana again. I feel like I've been a little hasty in this game, and I'm going to come up just short because of it. And now we're 1 mana short of Avacyn plus Rebuke. And I don't think we're in a position where we can take the foot off the gas. Yeah, I think we just have to attack and hope for the best. This attack is... man. No, I should have played Avacyn on end step. That was bad. My opponent has on board just tower plus falls to deal with this attack. I can't even attack. Should have played Avacyn on end step. My mistake. I think I was losing this game regardless, but yeah, a Gear Hulk here is so good. I don't know what I feel like I should have won this game. Yeah, targeting Glimmer. Try to resolve this Avacyn, probably get it dissolved. Essence scattered, sure. And they had the answer to Avacyn this entire time, but maybe I could have made their mana awkward at a certain point. The turn I let them get value from Lumbering Falls could have been relevant. This is going to be tough. So close, so close. Top bottom on that. I still have so many cards. Yeah, they're just killing all my stuff. Now we're facing down, 2 towers, still with 5 energy left, 6 cards in hand. A Gear Hulk. Maybe we could draw our last Ballista and have them not have a counter spell. Or if they tap out for this Lumbering Falls, we can Ballista with Rebuke up. Maybe that's our plan. UT Avacyn to set that up. Because I think I have 2 draw steps here before I'm dead. Maybe 3 if my opponent plays conservatively. But if they play conservatively, that likely means I have no outs. Oof. I guess we can cycle this now because we have 7 mana. I don't think that is... Sure. Yeah, I think that's better than holding up Avacyn here. Still requires both Dynavolt activations to deal with. Might get a counterspell out of our opponent's hand. This is another Gearhulk. Ooh, the fourth Glimmer. Yeah, now they have so much energy, they can just blow 10 of it to deal with the Sky Spawner. Take this turn to find more counterspells. Bottom top is not the worst. I have two creatures. That is a Magma Spray. So much energy. Down to 11, so they still have enough energy that just the two towers takes down Avacyn. Three towers. Now where they're going off book. Tolkien would be rolling in his grave. Gotta be great. Prairie Stream is not great. Am I just dead? I take 6, go to 7, and then take 8 from their attack. Yeah, I think I'm just dead at this point. I said I had 2 draw steps, and that's that is the number I had. Well, I think I have to Avacyn here to try to block. Can't go to 5 and just be dead to any spell, not even spell resolving, spell triggering towers. This is probably a Harness Lightning. Yep, that's good enough. Well, left our opponent at 1. Intricate game. Didn't quite get there. I certainly want all of my good answers. Don't want these declarations. I think the stasis snares are still good just to deal with Gearhulks. Harvesters are our weakest threat against a control deck. I don't think I want Gisela Bruna. Bruna's pretty good, but Gisela by itself is very weak, and that is the biggest part of that package. Need to trim 1 card, and I think it's going to be Ballista. Good mana sink, but not great early. A lot of what it does early is Crew Harvester, and they're gone. So we'll get a little bit more answer heavy here, cutting 4 threats and only bringing in 1 more. But the negate should be very good. This matchup on a strategic level looks good for blue-white. You want to be the aggro control deck against the pure control deck. But it is certainly going to be tricky. Ooh, solid hand, no blue. Got a 2-drop. The 2-drop's not likely to do much. I think this is a mulligan. Making land drops is important. Blue mana is important. This is a better 6. Opponent kept 7. Keep this. I'm looking for lands. There is a land. Leave that on top. And I'm not going to be able to crack Clue on turn 2 anyway, so I might as well get the 1 point in and attack with my Inspector. Oh, no. I should have thought towards turn 3. Oh, man. Just already punting from turn 1. I should have played Inspector turn 2, playing the 2 Prairie Streams, and then play Plains on turn 3 and hold up Queller for a tower. But I bet all of you knew that already. Yeah, not the best. Okay, well, Rebuke makes us look a little bit smarter. I knew the Rebuke was coming. See? How many of you knew that? Okay. Just a normal start to our game. Anticipate is fine. Maybe the Towerless have more anticipates than I think they do. More anticipates than I've anticipated, as you might say. Please try to resolve the tower. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Just what you were here to do, Metallic Rebuke. Oh, yes. Gotcha. I don't even care what else happens. That happening is good enough for me. Land. I lied. It wasn't good enough. No, it wasn't good enough. I wanted to land. Okay. I don't see my opponent tapping out on their next turn. Because without the tower, the main phase Glimmer doesn't have a lot of value. So I think I want to try to hit a land even if it enters tapped and then play the other Inspector. A little awkward. Need more lands. Mitch Moreland. It's a baseball player. Yeah, see, no spell from our opponent here, not surprised. Expecting a Glimmer here, so I'm just going to pass the turn and hold up Queller. Mush for 2. Best card in Standard. The Standard Elvish Visionary. Probably just get my Queller Harness Lightning on their turn, but I don't know what else you want me to do. Maybe I'm supposed to Rebuke, actually. That is something else I could have done. Please don't Radiant Flames me. Oh, they're going to Radiant Flames me. Yes, they Radiant Flames me. That jerk! Yeah, I should have rebuked. Well, land, please. Basically my only hope. What are they? Topped and bottomed. Come on, deck. Really? You're going to do that to me? Just going to hold up Queller and crack this clue. So I can try to rebuke that, like I didn't do before, or I can try to quell it. If I quell it, it's bad against Essence Scatter and Harness Lightning. If I rebuke, it's bad against Negate. But I have so many Quellers, and they're at 15. I need to start doing something. So while the rebuke is the much safer play, I'm inclined to go for it all. To go for the gusto. Show it to me. You're a jerk. Just the worst kind of person. Always having it. Land, please. Untapped land. Untapped land. You have to be specific. I don't want this to be a monkey's paw situation. Well, it would have been a monkey paw situation. Well, we drew a card we can't cast. And now we're in. No, stop. Oh, I was F6ing there. Wanted to crack the clue. Drew a land. A turn too late. Gideon does not survive a Gearhulk. So they Harness Lightning my one blocker and Gearhulk it down. Barely survives any removal spell, really, because of Tower plus Lumbering Falls. And it doesn't survive a counterspell. My Gideon is unlikely to live. But what am I doing if I'm just passing the turn and holding up these spells? Then they Gearhulk into a Glimmer. I guess I get to rebuke the Gearhulk? Sure. I'll pass for one turn and see if I get to rebuke the Gearhulk here. Still going to crack the clue and end step, though. No, they just have Anticipate. Well, that makes me look foolish, much like the rest of this match. This game, I don't think there's much we could have done. We were just stuck on 3 for too long. Yeah, I'm not going to counter that. I can't even quell it because of Tower. Better hope they have a lot of blanks. Correct my clue. Well, those aren't very good. But I'll play another Thraben Inspector. This game might have changed if I just rebuked the Glimmer. That was the big thing. I realized too late that I was just getting set up. Ugh. They're just going to wait till they have 9 mana. They're smart. Very smart indeed. We got a top and a top. Well, no tops are good for us. Unless they're Sensei stops, then I can call a judge and get my opponent DQ'd. Sensei stop? Yeah, there's nothing I can do here. I'm very dead. I think a sure misstep there in that second game, and I would bet that there were some missteps there in the first game too, given how close I was. Anytime you leave your opponent at 1, you feel like you've made some mistakes, but the artifacts in the deck feel pretty good. Harvester is not good in the control matchup, but they're definitely good against the creature decks, which are the majority of what's going on in Standard right now. Control is picked up with the Rise of Aetherworks, just like Blue-White, but you're better strategically against them. Maybe you need another land in the sideboard, because your land drops are really important in that matchup, but I don't think that matchup is wrong structurally. I just made, I think, a few mistakes that could have changed things, and missed a few land drops in that second game. So hope you enjoyed seeing that. You can come back and see me on Friday. Bye.